You want to know where brain rot begins. It's not social media, it's not news cycles, it's not even the endless noise of modern life. It starts the moment you wake up. The second you open your eyes and reach for your phone before you've even taken a full breath. That's when you lose the day. You think you're just checking the time, the messages, the weather. But what you're actually doing is handing over control, not hours from now, not gradually. Immediately, before you've said a word to yourself, you've let a dozen voices into your head, notifications, headlines, digital noise. You've trained your nervous system to start the day, not with clarity, but with reaction. And once that happens, you don't own your mind anymore. You're running on borrowed tension, someone else's agenda, someone else's pace. You've already lost the most powerful window of mental clarity you'll have all day. The window when your brain is fresh, uncluttered, and most capable of thinking clearly. Instead, you poisoned it with content that wasn't worth your time at noon, much less at dawn. And we wonder why we feel scattered, why we're anxious before we've even had coffee, why we can't hold a thought longer than a tweet. It's because you let your brain get hijacked before you even stood up. No philosopher worth reading ever began the day in chaos. Marcus Aurelius didn't start by asking what the empire thought of him. He asked what kind of man he intended to be. That's the difference. That's the line, and most people cross it without even realizing it's there. If your morning belongs to the algorithm, the rest of your day will too. What actually happens to the brain in the first hour? The first hour of your day is not neutral. It's a neurological pivot point. Your brain, fresh from sleep, is in a highly malleable state, more open to influence, more sensitive to inputs, and more prone to forming patterns that will shape the rest of your waking hours. What you allow into your mind during this window is not just information. It becomes architecture. And most people waste it. Worse, they poison it. You begin your day with a flood of dopamine, not from purpose or intention, but from stimulation. Notifications, emails, messages, trending chaos, all dumped into your nervous system before your feet touch the ground. What you've done is simple. You've taught your brain to crave reaction before reflection, urgency before clarity, input before ownership. The first hour programs your expectations. If you start with noise, your baseline becomes noise. If you start with scrolling, your mind becomes a browser tab that never closes. And if you start by comparing, reacting, checking, you've already adopted a posture of mental passivity. You didn't decide anything. You received. What's worse is that you're not just reacting to one thing, you're reacting to many. Your focus is split before you've even gathered it. You've gone from waking up to being woken up by a flood of meaningless triggers. And by mid-morning, you're surprised that you can't think straight, that you feel behind before you've even begun. The Stoics would call this self-inflicted chaos. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being, not as a puppet. Not as a reflex machine, as a rational, autonomous being who meets the day on his own terms." But most people don't meet the day. They hide from it, behind their screen, behind the comfort of consumption, behind a habit that's been disguised as normal when it's anything but. If the first hour of your day is spent reacting to the world, then don't be surprised when the world controls your every move. The cost of digital mornings. Let's be honest, most modern mornings are indistinguishable from addiction. You wake up and your first move isn't to breathe, stretch, or think. It's to check the feed, the inbox, the headlines. And the cost of this ritual isn't just time, it's mental integrity. When your day starts with artificial urgency, you train your brain to crave crisis. You begin to expect friction, noise, comparison, before you've even asked yourself what matters today. You're not choosing your path. You're reacting to someone else's chaos. That reaction doesn't stay in your hand. It spills over into your posture, your patience, your ability to concentrate. You open one app in the morning and your attention never returns to you. You've fractured it, given it away in pieces, and the result isn't obvious at first, but you feel it. You feel the inability to focus deeply, the anxiety that sits just under your skin by 9 a.m., the irritation that doesn't match the moment, the lack of clarity about what exactly you're even doing with your day. That's the rot. And it's not sudden, it's cumulative. And every time you wake up and default to digital stimulation, you erode the wall between your mind and the madness outside. You invite everything in before you've even established who's home. You trade presence for immediacy. And then you wonder why the rest of your day feels like it belongs to everyone but you. The Stoics didn't let the day dictate their mind. They prepared their mind to meet the day. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, arrogance." Not because he was pessimistic, but because he was realistic. He primed his thoughts for impact so that impact would not own him. That's what modern mornings lack: premeditation, not planning tasks, preparing the soul, recalling your principles, fortifying your center, establishing before anything else that your peace is your responsibility. If you want to feel clear-headed, focused, grounded, stop expecting that to just happen. It's not a mood, it's a discipline, and it begins not in the middle of your day, but in the moment you wake. Your morning is not a warm-up, it's a declaration. If you give it away mindlessly, the rest of your day will follow the same pattern on someone else's leash. The Stoic morning and a ritual of mental strength. The Stoics understood something we've forgotten. Your morning isn't just the start of your day, it's the start of your mind. And if you want to rule the rest of the day, you must first reclaim the first hour from the noise. Marcus Aurelius didn't roll out of bed and reach for stimulus. He sat down with a pen and wrestled with his own thoughts. His morning was not a performance. It was a confrontation with ego, fear, desire, and responsibility. He asked himself what kind of man he intended to be that day. That's not motivational fluff. That's mental armor. A modern Stoic morning must begin the same way, not with input, but with intention. Before you look out at the world, you look in. You remind yourself, the first voice I hear today will be my own. Not a stranger's post, not a trend, not a crisis I can't control. Mine. That means no phone, no feed, no artificial urgency, just space. Space to return to yourself before the world comes clawing. So what does a Stoic hour look like? It starts in silence, not for spirituality, for clarity. You breathe, you sit, you become aware again of the fact that you exist. You remind yourself that your mind is a tool, not a device to be constantly poked and triggered. Next, you write, not for art, but for structure. Journaling is not a hobby here. It's a form of mental hygiene. You lay out your thoughts, your anxieties, your plans, your intentions. Marcus did this with brutal honesty. You can too. You ask yourself, what can I control today? What will I need courage for? What discomfort am I willing to face? What virtue will I practice on purpose? Then you move, walk, breathe, feel your body. No headphones, no stimulation, just awareness. Your physical state sets the tone for your mental state. The Stoics believed that strength was not just moral, it was physical. A strong posture was a reflection of a prepared soul. And lastly, you set your anchor, a quote, a thought, a phrase, something to hold on to when the day tries to shake you. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. The obstacle is the way. These aren't mantras. They're triggers for reason. This is not about perfection, it's about foundation. A Stoic morning doesn't make the day easy. It makes you ready. It doesn't promise peace. It reminds you that peace is earned through clarity, not granted by chance. If your morning feels like chaos, that's because you're starting from the outside in. A Stoic starts from the inside out. First the mind, then the world. Because the first victory of the day is not getting out the door. It's not reaching inbox zero. It's ruling yourself before anything else tries to. Objections, excuses, and rebuttals. At this point, the excuses start to speak louder than reason. I need my phone for my alarm. Sure, but do you need the news, the messages, the dopamine hit within 30 seconds of waking up? There's a difference between using a tool and being owned by one. Buy an alarm clock. Leave your phone in another room. You're not helpless. But my job requires me to be online early. Fine, but your job doesn't control your first 15 minutes, or your mindset before you clock in. You're not powerless. You've just been undisciplined. I don't have time for a full morning routine. What you're really saying is, you don't think your peace is worth 30 minutes, but you'll lose far more than that throughout the day in stress, reactivity, and distraction. You're not saving time, you're sacrificing direction. I tried this, but I slipped back. As good. That means you're human. Try again. You think Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up groggy? You think Seneca never got derailed? Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about repetition. Fail, recalibrate, return. The biggest lie we've accepted is that reactivity is unavoidable, that modern life is too fast, too demanding, too overwhelming to meet it with strength and calm. But here's the truth, you're already doing a morning routine. It just happens to be one that weakens you. You're not without habits. You're full of them. They're just working against you instead of for you. The question is not whether you have time for a Stoic morning. The question is whether you're willing to defend it. Because everything that pulls you from your mind first thing in the morning is competing for control of your day. And the more often you let it win, the less of your own life you're actually living. So keep your objections, but understand what they are: quiet justifications for staying in mental chains. The Stoic isn't flawless. He just doesn't lie to himself about what he's choosing. A challenge, 1 week to rewire your mornings. If you've made it this far, then here's your test, not a lecture, a challenge. For the next 7 days, the first hour of your morning belongs to you. Not your inbox, not your phone, not the world, just you. 1 hour, every day, no compromise. This is not a detox, it's a reset. A reminder that you still have authority over your own mind, and that the world only takes what you offer it without resistance. Here's how you do it. Step 1, no external input for the first 60 minutes. No social media, no news, no messages. If you need to check something urgent, do it later. You've survived mornings without notifications before. You'll survive again. Step 2, breathe in silence for 5 full minutes. No music, no scrolling, no stimulation. Sit, stand, lie down. Doesn't matter, just feel your thoughts return. This will feel uncomfortable. That's good. That's where the training begins. Step 3, journal with intent. Don't write to impress, write to clarify. What matters today? What are you avoiding? Where will you need courage? Who do you want to be when resistance shows up? Step 4, move your body, walk, stretch, train, do something physical. Your body anchors your mind. You want to feel stronger mentally. Remind yourself what strength feels like. Step 5, choose your thoughts before they choose you. Read a single paragraph of philosophy or recall one Stoic line. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. One idea, held With intention, that's it. No mystical rituals, no productivity gimmicks, just one quiet hour to remember you're a human being, not a content machine. Track what changes, not just how you feel, but how you respond, how you breathe, how much less reactive, needy, or foggy you become. By day 3, you'll notice you're less drawn to the noise. By day 5, you'll resent the idea of opening your phone first. By day 7, you won't be cured, but you'll be conscious. And that is everything. This is not self-help, it's self-defense. You're not just forming habits, you're regaining territory that was always yours until you handed it over for convenience. Reclaim the first hour and you begin to reclaim the rest. Reclaim your morning, reclaim your mind. This is where it starts, not with some grand resolution, not with a total reinvention of your life, just with one decision, that your mind will no longer wake up in service to noise. Your morning is not a warm-up, it's a mirror. It shows you, before the world distracts you, exactly who you are and what you're allowing. If you reach for the phone before you reach for your own thoughts, you've already chosen reaction over reflection. You've already said, I'm not in charge today. Someone else can steer. That choice, repeated daily, is how brain rot begins. Quietly, painlessly, by surrendering the single most important moment of your day, when you're most open, most unshaped, most alive. The Stoics knew clarity is not given, it is claimed. And the first claim you make is how you meet the day. No one is coming to protect your peace. No one is going to block the noise for you. No one is going to teach you to think if you outsource every thought to the machine in your pocket. That's your job, and it begins tomorrow morning. So ask yourself, when the alarm goes off, when your mind wakes up, and the urge to check, scroll, and react rises like a tide, will you answer, or will you pause? Will you choose silence? Will you choose direction? Will you choose to begin your day like a sovereign mind, or like a slave to the feed? Because no one else owns that moment, only you do. Reclaim your morning, reclaim your mind, and remember, if you lose the first hour, you've already lost the rest.